20 seconds of darkness, followed by a full fucking minute of 70mm snowy landscape porn. Look, I like Quentin Tarantino. You probably like Quentin Tarantino too. But Quentin Tarantino likes Quentin Tarantino more than we do. Who gives a shit? This is his 8th film. Also, you're backtracking through your head and wondering why this is the 8th and not the 9th. Because he considers Kill Bill all one movie. But we still can't get Kill Bill as one movie. Can we? Can we? I just have no choice. So wait, that wasn't even a church? Just a random crucifix in the middle of nowhere? Also, I wouldn't have even questioned this if Tarantino didn't show it to me for 3 damn minutes. Reading.
Got room for one more?
Marquise thinks OB can hear him ask this question slightly above a whisper.
Trying to bring a couple no-goods in the market.
And by taking these no-goods off of his cart and putting them in the road, presumably so he has a place to sit, Marquise created unnecessary work for himself.
That damn blasted blizzard has been on our ass for the last 3 hours.
And they're continuing to outrun it.
Hold it, black fella.
Tarantino uses the term blackfella for Marquise in this scene because he's saving up for another term he will later use in excess.
You take them 2 guns of yours and you lay them on that rock over yonder.
Kurt Russell landed this role based on his impression of John Wayne.
Okay, boy, we'll give it a try.
Are we supposed to believe that John Ruth is some sort of kind-hearted Samaritan here? There's no way in hell he trusts Warren, and giving him a ride gives him absolutely nothing. Maybe he knows there's a plot later. Daisy must have a steel plate in her head, because after a hit like that, I don't think she could immediately get up and start talking again. Tarantino's foot fetish has gone too far. Horse porn. It hasn't been too long since they were out in the snow, and I assume their stagecoach doesn't have a heater in it, so they should still have snow on their hats and jackets. This movie is so anti-littering, Marquise throws a recently lit, still potentially flammable match on the floor of a wooden stagecoach instead of outside in the snow.
But in the brains department, you're like a man who took a high dive in a low well.
I know that Daisy is looking ahead to when her family comes and tries to rescue her, but she has to know after all the abuse she's taken, she's going to get punched by John every time she says something like this, right? What is her endgame for getting tortured? I am subjected to watching Daisy lick blood off her face for 37 seconds.
Hey, little apple blossom.
Quentin, you have Ennio Morricone at your disposal, and you'd rather play this anachronistic pop song? I'm gonna add 3 cents for that. Either I've underestimated mid-19th century Wyoming's ability to plow snow, or this is some bullshit.
You still got it?
John Ruth plays the pronoun game so that Warren has to ask what the hell it means.
And this is just one of the letters.
Knowing what we find out later, this so-called Lincoln letter is a forgery, Warren sure does go to prestige-level commitment when it comes to being protective about it.
They was pen pals.
John says that Lincoln and Marquise are pen pals, even though that term was coined in the late 1930s. Marquise punches Daisy out of the stagecoach just at the right time so that they can run into yet another person who can help out with the plot.
Is that you, Chris Mannix?
Wyoming is a pretty big place. The likelihood of John being 2 for 2 of knowing people he runs into is pretty slim.
You're the hangman Bob Ruth.
My lord, is that really the real head of Major Marquess looking at me now?
And there's P.T. Barnum and Louisa May Alcott.
So I'm supposed to freeze to death cause you find something hard to believe?
I suppose not.
It seems like John just had a stroke. It's the only thing I can think of that would explain his sudden compassion for this guy he doesn't seem to care for.
Does he know how famous you once was?
It's convenient that these characters don't know just enough about each other for an explanation to be necessary.
You ain't never heard of Wellenbeck Prisoner War Camp, West Virginia.
West Virginia was a Union state that broke away from Virginia because those counties didn't want to be a part of the Confederacy, making it a key border state for the Union, which would make having a Confederate prisoner war camp there highly unlikely. Even though it's not impossible, it's just kind of a bad choice to put your fictional prison when there are plenty of other Confederate states to choose from.
Gotta nail it shut!
You will? Because when Bob walked out a bit ago, it shut just fine. Tim Roth isn't Christoph Waltz in this scene.
Let's just say I don't like cheating the hangman. He gotta make a living too.
Does the hangman get paid per hang? I legitimately don't know. It seems like that would create a conflict of interest.
We're gonna drop one every 10 paces!
We watch them do this in real time, for no reason other than Tarantino has this 70mm camera and he's gonna use it, goddammit. I'd prefer to carry the rods and rope along with me, rather than go back and forth in a blizzard. Either someone is trying to make a bead curtain out of chains, or I'm just completely ignorant as to why someone would need all those hanging there. Either way, I'm counting it as a sin.
You the chap with the Lincoln letter?
How the f*** does Oswaldo already know about Marquise's Lincoln letter? The only way he could know is if Ruth somehow told him about it while they were off camera for no reason any sane person can think of.
In the stable has a letter from Abraham Lincoln?
Tim Roth did his character study by watching Monty Python for several days. Where the hell is this light coming from? There's a huge blizzard outside, so it's definitely not sunlight. I guess Minnie got a time machine, traveled into the future, and brought floodlights back with her.
Red Apple Tabaco.
Ah, Red Apple. You're the thin thread that barely makes all the Tarantino movies somehow part of the same world.
Is that General Sanford Smithers I see?
There must be only like 20 people in all of Wyoming, because there's at least one person who has some connection with the person they just met, which is very helpful when we, the viewers, don't know who anyone is in the first place.
But I always respected his resolve.
Did they make Bruce Dern swallow gravel for this take? Give the man a lozenge.
We divide Minnie's in half. The northern side and the southern side.
Having a Brit decide how we divide up geography always leads to trouble. Knives don't make ringing sounds as they're pulled through the air.
I'm gonna cut you loose while we eat.
Mr. John, suspicious of everyone Ruth over here, decides to uncuff Daisy because he's overdue for a lapse in judgment.
When it comes to some of them mean bastards out there, it's the only thing does the job. You really only need to hang mean bastards, but mean bastards, you need to hang.
This is that classic Tarantino tell you like it is style of dialogue, but sometimes Tarantino's dialogue is repetitive. But being repetitive is something Tarantino's dialogue does sometimes. I don't know if tension is supposed to be building right now, but it feels more like I'm watching a very boring episode of Frontier Big Brother.
John Ruth says you got a Lincoln letter. You got a letter from Abraham Lincoln.
This sums up the movie to me. Moments masqueraded as tension, but in reality are repetitive as shit.
But ain't nobody in Minnie's haberdashery ever corresponded with Abraham Lincoln.
You want to know why I lie about something like that, white man?
Got me on that stagecoach, didn't it?
Did it though? I thought it was the agreement between you and John about protecting your respective bounties. But that was so long ago now, who the hell knows?
Got a woman? Fever took her started this last winter.
Smithers wouldn't be caught dead talking to a black person minutes ago, but now he shared personal details about his life.
You knew my boy?
In the middle of f***ing Wyoming, hiding away from a blizzard in a remote location, Warren runs into the father of a guy he killed. It's interesting how Marquise and the naked guy are able to be here, then cross the railroad tracks, then end up where they were originally. And suddenly we're next to this river. Wyoming is a confusing place.
He's just a sneaky trying to get you to go for that gun.
Racism aside, he's right, and for some reason Smithers doesn't take this statement more seriously.
I pulled my big black pecker out my pants.
There are two things that I generally don't want to happen at the same time when I go see a movie. Sam Jackson talk about his big black pecker, and the camera begins tilting down as he does it. This is the story of General Smithers' son, who was so good at oral sex he could do it on a fully clothed man.
Sucked on that warm black dingus.
Dingus?
About 15 minutes has passed since...
Okay, add 5 cents for throwing in narration over halfway through this damn movie. Also, instead of trimming some of the fat down from earlier in this movie, Tarantino decided it would be better for him to just tell us what happened instead of writing more dialogue.
Captain Chris Mannix donned the dead general's coat and...
That is inexplicably without bullet holes and bloodstains, even though he was shot wearing that coat 15 minutes earlier.
Now you got the right idea.
Mannix, who apparently worshipped General Smithers, is totally fine that he's dead and is acting like it never happened.
Bob enjoyed a manzana roja.
Calm down, Quentin.
Music time's over.
Kurt Russell really smashed up an antique guitar from the 1870s right there. That's Jennifer Jason Leigh legit freaking out. The sin is not telling Kurt Russell about the guitar, or not stopping the scene to switch out the replica, or using a priceless antique in a guitar smashing scene in the first place.
Let's slow it way down.
Holy shit, if it hasn't been slowed way down already, I don't think I can make it through the rest of this picture.
Now, Minnie like just about everybody, but she sure don't like Mexicans.
But why? Is it so that Warren could one day solve a murder Agatha Christie style? That's such an oddly specific prejudice, which just happens to play into the hands of this plot. Even though Marquis shoots Senor Bob in the belly, the blood spatter comes out below his shoulder. Getting shot in the dick? Okay, so Channing Tatum is underneath the floorboards. What took him so long to start shooting fools? There were plenty of chances when he could have killed John and anybody else he wanted before it got to this scene.
All right, I did it.
There was hardly a reason to keep the who poisoned the coffee thing a secret if one of the guys was just going to admit it at gunpoint. There was some pretty cool sleuthing going on there for a bit, eliminating all the people who couldn't have done it, but this reveal is as satisfying as finding out there's a new Transformers movie coming. Nearly 2 minutes of a stagecoach driving to Minnie's that we already know happened.
Let's see some faces, let's hear some names.
At no point during this scene does Minnie's supposed hatred of Mexicans surface. Not even a dirty look. It's real nice of Joe to offer Judy a peppermint stick, but it's odd that he would reach out his right hand, then magically have the peppermint sticks in his left hand when the shot changes to over Judy's shoulder. Movie steals the dead man's view shot, complete with Michael Madsen and Uma Thurman's body double from Kill Bill.
And he's gonna have my sister with him, and he is gonna have her in chains.
How the f*** did this guy learn about who captured his sister and when they were gonna come through here?
During the next 4 hours, Jody and the boys chucked the bodies down the well.
Unnecessary narration is more unnecessary than usual. Jody is the only one who hides, even though they're all relatively well-known gangsters, which we find out later. And with the passengers in the now arriving stagecoach propensity for recognizing people, it sure is super f***ing lazy that they don't know who these guys are. Tarantino abandons his chapter numbering scheme. I guess he does this to keep people from leaving the theater because they aren't sure how many more chapters they can endure.
All right, you fella in the basement.
Wait a minute, why didn't Jody use his advantage to shoot Chris through the floorboards too?
He was a big bad cat worth $50,000, and every member of his gang was worth at least 10.
You mean to tell me that this professional bounty hunter guy didn't recognize anybody from the infamous gang until Daisy brought up her real last name, and John didn't either? Surely they'd seen drawings of some of these people before. Any good gunslinging frontiersman should know that if someone already has the draw on you, it's probably not the best idea to jump up and fling your chair and try and shoot them. They will definitely shoot you first.
When the hangman catches you, you hang.
This seems like a weird time for Marquise to get all sappy and decide to honor John Ruth. Can't we just shoot her and be done with it? These two jackasses managed to find the strength to lift Daisy, even after extreme blood loss.
Listen, all you people
So the next person to come across this stagecoach stop will stumble upon like $100,000 worth of corpses. Lucky them. Hopefully they don't try to drink from the well.
Well, that's a very offensive way to put it. You shouldn't say that.
Addie.
Neighbor.
Girl, don't you know that
dancers
don't like being called
nudists
no more than
You ain't really gonna let that
Panther
ride in here, is you? You overrate him.
Quaker
That
Joker
like to bust my jaw.
and Glacier.
Gonna stomp your ass to death.
Is that the way
Swimmers.
treat their ladies?
$8,000, a lot of money for a
Number.
You're
Viper.
with the hand.
this
Antler.
hating son of a gun ain't partnered up with you.
Now, them hillbillies went
Logger.
head hunting. They just never did get them right
Logger.
head, did they?
You joined the war to keep
Gawkers.
in chains.
For no more reason than to give
Hiker.
a run for the trees. 37 white men for one
Hamster.
wasn't so hard to trade. Accused you of being a kill crazy
Teacher.
How many
Badger.
towns did y'all sack?
Cause when
Climbers.
are scared,
You gonna talk that hateful
Badger.
talk.
And you can share bananas with your
Bitter.
friend in the stable.
The bounty hunter's
Broker.
friend in the stable.
He's got
Broker.
a bounty hunter friend in the stable.
Minor.
In the stable has a letter?
The Minor.
In the stable. Do you know that?
Fiddler.
Sir,
I don't know that,
Fiddler.
but I know he's a...
Fiddler.
that
Boner.
just ain't in him.
Boner.
That
Boner.
Inform them.
Soldier.
Major.
Baker.
Tell them
Banker.
that I don't acknowledge
Bankers.
in northern uniforms. And least of all, northern...
Bankers.
You weren't just some random
Boxers.
soldier picked from a pile of letters. You really think,
Farmer.
least of all, that
Lawyer.
there.
Stop that, Sam!
Drummer.
Come up here to do a little
Logger.
head hunting. 5,000 just to cut off
Gophers.
head? They sang a different tune when they found themselves at the mercy of a
Plumbers.
gun. I had the son of the bloody
Camper.
killer of Baton Rouge.
You shut your lying
Tiger.
lips up. He's just a sneaky
Barber.
trying to get you to go for that gun.
Ignoring the
Grader.
that killed your boy.
You gotta real imagine it.
Writer.
You intend to murder me based on a far-fetched
Dinner.
theory.
How close you came to being tossed on a pile.
Pillows.
And when it comes to that pile of
Pillows.
that we building out back,
You sure picked the wrong time to turn into a
Hacker.
lover. Don't you see that?
Hunter.
And John Ruth put you smack dab in the middle of danger. You're about to be murdered in some
Cadaver.
named Minnie's house. And what's gonna happen when that sun comes out?
Vampire.
You gonna let that
Diver.
speak for you, Chris? Shoot that
Shopper.
dead. They ain't just gonna kill you and then
Gamer.
shoot that
Lobster.
dead.
So who's still on that?
Barber.
Ladies, bikes, and fighting, that's our kicks. We're the ones they call the Black Six.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins.
never.
Never ever.
Forever, ever, forever, ever.
But when John Ruth the hangman catches you, you don't dive no bullet in the back.
And that's the double truth, Ruth.
Try to catch snowflakes on your tongue. It's fun.
You got a letter from Abraham Lincoln.
Yes.
The Abraham Lincoln?
Yes.
Abraham Lincoln.
But why did you just ask me the same question in 3 different ways?
Normally, both your asses would be dead as fucking fried chicken. But you happen to pull this while I'm in a transitional period, and I don't want to kill you. I want to help you.
We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life. I've got to rest before I fall apart. My joints are almost frozen.